Hi everyone, my name is Chef Arva, and this is the Personality Mentorship series with Mark Mbugua.
Chef Arva is one of the few eggless chefs in Kenya with an impressive vision to inspire the next generation of young chefs by hosting cook sessions and largely through her book titled My Little Chef Cookbook. She has also been featured in several expos to share her experience of eggless baking. So I'm excited to explore her culinary journey that began by solving diet options for her two daughters to an impactful bakery mission. Stay tuned. Chef Arva, welcome to Personality Mentorship. You are a certified professional baker from the Academy of Pastry and Culinary Arts, India, and specialized chocolatier at the Slattery School of Excellence in the UK. Now, break it down for us on what these certifications mean and take us back on why you chose to become a chef.
Let me start with saying that I am born and bred Kenyan. Yes. The reason I ventured into eggless baking is because when I became a mother, my two daughters were born with skin allergies and various food allergies. And like I've always said it to people, the era that they were born in, Kenya as a country was still not prepared for, catering for kids who had allergies. I think products were just starting to come into the market. And I realized that, if I'm going to wait at this pace, nothing's ever going to be done. So in order to provide for them, I had to come out of my comfort zone and actually learn how to prepare eggless, dairy-free and gluten-free desserts and dishes. They inspired me and they forced me to learn, whereby I had to do these certain online courses which I was introduced to by so many people and specialize in it. And 10 years down the line, it's become a profession.
You know, we have very few careers that begin from a place of motherhood, where your child or children provide a new purpose while you're pursuing your career. For our listeners and viewers, tell us how it all began.
So 10 years ago, I don't think I even belonged in the kitchen. Let's say I think the max I could do was make a cup of tea and whip up a nice quick breakfast for myself. I was a workaholic. I had a 9-to-5 job. I was working in a company that supplied medical equipment, and that was it. To me, that was work, home, work, home. The girls, like I said, my girls were born and they had these allergies, and this is where I realized that, okay, you know what, something needs to be done and I need to learn. So I started doing research. I started going into, YouTube and various other videos and looking up on how to make various recipes. I also used to do a lot of speaking with different cooks and chefs and meet friends who are on certain diets and, having similar problems. And I think it was just through trial and error. Okay. And of course, it was the dedication, because they only had me to come to when it came to food and, when they were going through their allergies. So I had to get it done. Mm-hmm. So they were the biggest inspiration, whereby I had to learn how to bake. When they started school, and when they would take the baked goods, for a birthday celebration or for a class party, that's when all the other parents would be like, oh my God, this is delicious. This is beautiful. We can't believe it's eggless. We can't believe it's gluten-free. Then that's how the concept of why don't you take orders and why don't you, make a baking page or, just start taking orders and starting professionally. And that's how it started. And that's how it all began.
Great.
Yeah.
Your daughters, Alefia and Ruhi, are a critical part to your journey on becoming a home baker and a specialized chef. What inspiration do they give you?
So I think it's also, when I signed up for being a full-time mom, yes. It wasn't easy. Mentally, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, I've left my job, I'm not earning anymore. What am I going to do? And because of their issues, it was very hard for me to balance work life and home life. So I had to pick and choose. And I'm glad that I picked the kids, before above else. And their health was mandatory for all of us. What really inspired me to go further is their interest. Is when they would always see me in the kitchen, and they would always be so interested, and they would love how I'm always exploring. They started showing an interest in the kitchen, and they wanted to cook, and they wanted to get into the whole baking thing. My younger one, till today, when we ask her, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she actually tells me, I want to be a chef. And that brings a smile onto my face, because I'm like, oh my God, like, who thought that would be a career they would see in their mom 10 years ago? I was in a working job, and they would always be like, okay, I want to work like mommy. But it felt so good to hear those words, that I want to be a chef when I grow up. And them showing interest in the kitchen is what also made us come up with a recipe and do the cookbook as well together, because we realized that whenever we would go to bookshops or we would go to libraries, we realized that the cookbooks that were there, either the ingredients were not available locally, or the chef was very international. We couldn't reach out to somebody if a recipe went right or wrong. And this is how they said, Mama, you know what, you're a baker, let's make recipes, let's create recipes which we can do comfortably in the kitchen. And that's how the whole cookbook series started. And they have actually made each and every recipe in the cookbook themselves.
Wow.
Yeah. And I remember one of the days when we were shooting, and at one or two shoots, or one or two recipes when we were shooting, they would always be like, Mommy, this is hard, we can't do this. And I kid you not, the recipe was out of the cookbook. That's when I decided, if they cannot make it, why have it? I mean, there's no point of having a recipe in the cookbook just for the sake of having a recipe. So these were tested, tried, explored by them. So all the 12 recipes in the cookbook, are comfortably being able to be made by any child between the age of 6 to 15 years. Yeah.
Let's talk about My Little Chef Cookbook, which you authored, and it's aimed for kids who are 6 years and above. What's your focus, and what do you intend to be the purpose of this book?
This is my baby. I call it my third baby. My Little Chef Cookbook. It's got 12 eggless, vegetarian and healthy recipes. Again, we were trying to also cater for kids with allergies, kids with certain conditions. So we tried to make the book as versatile and diverse as possible. The only thing I can say about this cookbook is it's just not any other cookbook. It's been really well thought about it. We've carefully given so much thought about it. I would tell Mark, it's the mind of a baker and the heart of a mother that has made this cookbook. Right. What I love about it is it's a step-by-step basic cookbook. Okay. There is a story that I tell everybody, and I've heard it happening all the time, is when a child comes and tells a mother, I want to cook. And the mom says, okay, let's go bake. As a baker, I believe that why do we need to start with baking? Baking is so technical. The dough creation and process is very technical and needs a lot of understanding. And that's why it's easier to start the child with the basic steps. Let them learn how to cut, let them learn how to roll, whisk, mix. And then once they get the hang of making the basic dishes, is when they can always move into pastry making and culinary arts, right? So my favorite recipe, Mark, in the cookbook is a no-bake rocky road. I love this recipe. It's just so creative, and it's been thought out of the box. It doesn't require an oven. It's literally making a cake with mix of basic ingredients. Another one of my favorite is the pasta pizza skewers. Um, Here is where I'm encouraging everyone to be quite creative, whereby you really don't need to have a dough to have a base. You can always improvise and be creative and have any other way of presenting your food in a much delicious way.
Bake Me Some Buns has had its impact in the marketplace. From a business standpoint, if you were to relaunch your company, what would you do different?
I think with Bake Me Some Buns, how we started was just trial and error. Given the situation that I was in, of course, I didn't know or didn't feel that it would go further. I was at that time just baking for family and friends. But if I ever had to start again, I think I would believe in myself more and start with a big loud bang, right? And just, give it a go.
What's the one thing that people misunderstood about you and it took you a while to deal with it?
So I think one of the biggest misunderstandings was people thinking that everything is just so easy. The whole journey has taken time for me emotionally. First of all, just having kids with allergies was, I just brush it off nowadays and say it, but when I sit back and think on that journey, whereby, every little thing that my child ate or every little thing that was around my child they were reacting to it, and it was a health issue. We had a lot of low days whereby, they could just not even wake up some of the days. I still remember with the skin allergies, we would have open wounds, and my little ones would be bleeding at some point. So balancing that as a mother, especially if you've been always in a work setting, was very difficult for me. And it took a lot of strength to take things positively. Mark, I even told you this today, that I never knew that I'll have kids with allergies. We don't plan for these things, they just come your way. There were two ways I could have done with this: is either just sit, cry and sulk and just say, oh my god, and this is where I recollected myself and I said, okay, now this has happened, this may be there. Doctors were even telling me they may outgrow the allergies, or this could be with them for life. And it was a very hard journey for me to accept all the changes. Even when I did eventually start the baking, there were days where the kids were not well or absolutely really under the weather, and it slowed down a lot of things on my end, so we had a lot of gaps, we had a lot of mishaps. There were so many orders I had to cancel sometimes, and there was always a misunderstanding that she's not serious with what she's doing. Up until I can say comfortably now is when now they go to school, so I have now been able to manage my time and balance it out, whereby I know I keep my baking in the morning and then my evenings, I keep it free for them. I think in the concept of even family, I've got two sides of it. There's a family who has immensely supported in whatever I've been wanting to do. Not to forget my parents, my siblings. They've always been there. They've always said, do it. We're so proud of you. You've left your job. You've become a home-based mom, and you're now doing this. This is fantastic. It's amazing. Not to forget my better half. He never interfered. What I loved is I was given the space. So if I had to maybe bake things in the kitchen, he never once said, oh, why are you baking? You're not supposed to be baking. And I would be like, he would just be like, oh, you're baking today? Okay, well and good, Oh, it's a business now? Oh, good for you, Oh, now you're doing shooting for a cookbook? Okay, that's great, So there is support that plays a big part in it. However, there was the misunderstanding that, now I'm too busy, or I'm now really up there in the bar and I don't have time for my family, or I don't have time for my children. But, thanks to all the mental health conversations that go around and people talking about, how women should look into also this self-worth and self-value and their inner mental health. And if I had decided to just concentrate on all the negative energy that was coming towards me, I would have never been able to move forward. So negativity is always there in whatever you do, be it baking, be it starting a new business, be it starting a fashion line or a makeup product. There's always two sides of how everything always happens. I think just being focused, believing in yourself, being patient with yourself. I think the one thing I learned in this journey was I need to be patient. Nothing was going to happen overnight. Life is a day at a time. And building a business from home, building a brand name from, the comfort of your home is comfortable. But yeah, it's difficult. It's not easy. So, yeah.
Let's talk about faith. Are there any universal truths you believe in and that you can share with us?
Yeah, I do believe in it. I especially believe in the fact that everything happens for a reason. The fact that my girls were born with allergies, I believe there's always a reason behind it. It's what led me to come out of my comfort zone, to become a baker, to learn how to cook, also venture in the future and, just to come up with a cookbook and create recipes. And, it's all thanks to them. Because if I didn't have them right now, I would still be doing my what I do, and I would just be in my comfort zone. Yeah.
What would be your parting shot?
So I would always tell everyone, start with believing in yourself first. Life will throw many things at you. The life is full of ups and downs. You can celebrate all your ups, but when you are undergoing your downs, just remember, sit down and remember what you're worth, what you can do and how you can change the situation. Use your creativity. I always tell everyone, be very creative, come up with different unique ideas on how to build yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to know how to uplift yourself, how to make yourself happy, how to be passionate about something. Be patient with yourself. Nothing happens overnight. Everything takes time. But if you believe in yourself, if you're dedicated, there's a lot of hard work you're putting into it. Eventually, everyone will see what is going into what you're putting in. So, yeah, give your fullest, give your 100%.